Rusba, again, thank you, sir, for your comment and your super chat. Said Joyce's article was worded weirdly about Jurgen wanting Anthony. Did he mean that Jurgen did not want to extend Salah's contract? He said Gordon did. Yeah, in that piece he said it was ultimately Mike Gordon that gave the nod for Salah's contract to be extended. So I don't know if Jurgen wanted to move Mo on. I doubt it. I would say maybe it was a contingency plan. If Salah couldn't be extended, then maybe, Jurgen was looking around for, well, who are we going to bring in then if we lose Mo? But thankfully it was done in the end, and hopefully it's done again. Jamin said, Jurgen strangely has never been big on Mo, didn't even want to buy him initially, always been a strange relationship with Klopp and Mo. So I've thought about that a little bit myself, mate, and my thoughts are, if he wasn't that big on Mo, I felt like the situation with Mane would have told us that. So remember we sold Mane to Bayern Munich for, 30 million euros, something like that. I feel like if Klopp wasn't that big on Mo, at that point he would have backed Mane and would have built or kept Mane around to let Mo go. But maybe Jurgen gives us his honest take on all of this in the future in some book or something like that. Yeah, look, it's hard to talk about these things when we're not inside that dressing room, right? And we don't know Jurgen's relationship with Mo or any of the other players. What we do know is, undoubtedly, there was a bit of a frosty relationship at times between Mane and Mo. Firmino spoke about that as well, that sometimes he was the middleman in these and, he was the person that kept them all together in that extent. So, I don't know. I feel like it's just me, or have the media been kind of starting to pick some holes in Jurgen a little bit recently, or scapegoat Jurgen on a few things. It feels like a very strange week around Jurgen. Like there's been some unflattering stuff started to come out. Rusba said, I love Jurgen. The media should stop talking crap. I agree. I don't want Jurgen's legacy tainted in any way, shape or form, because he's been absolutely phenomenal. Carl said, FSG leaking stuff about Klopp, I call it deflecting. So nobody will ever convince me that relationship between Jurgen and FSG was as good as it was made out to be. I know Jurgen has always been complimentary towards the owners of the club, but I just can't believe for 1 second that there wasn't times he wasn't frustrated over transfers. That, and of course the PGMOL and those referees, I'm sure, was winding him up as well. Boeing Zebedee said, yes, Craig, Ornstein has been very bad with the Klopp stories. I don't like it, mate. I don't like it. I don't like people trying to taint Jurgen's time here. There probably is a valid conversation around some of the transfers when Jurgen was in charge, but just let it all go. The man's legacy deserves to be kept intact, and I will never think of Jurgen Klopp as anything other than a god. I will always be grateful for every day that we had that man as the manager. Same way, I was very, very... people can accuse me of a lot of stuff, but I don't think you'll find anybody who was as supportive of the appointment of Arne Slot as I was, because I was never in any doubt about Arne Slot being the right fit. And I was never in any doubt that he wasn't going to come in to be a sacrificial lamb or a yes man. It just doesn't seem like it's in his nature. And I think we have to say, yes, we've got the right man. We've got the right man in now. And I think people are starting to see now and understand Arne a little bit more and his style of football a little bit more and what he's going to bring to the table. So I'm I'm happy. I'm happy because I was so scared what was going to come after Jurgen, And we've seen enough people come out and say, whoever comes in is bound to fail because of the shadow that they're coming into. And I've always said since Arne came in, he's not coming in to fail. That's, he could have had many Premier League jobs, but he chose this one. And let's get behind him. Danny said, these owners are absolutely disgusting. They have no ambition whatsoever. Imagine we just need a few additions to January to sustain our challenge. Do you know what gets me though, Danny? Right? So whenever somebody like you or me or anybody else questions the spending of the owners, we get met with, but we've won trophies, right? But you're top of the league now, right? And my argument back is, yes, we have won trophies. And yes, they did deliver a league title. But it's not that pisses us off. It's how many others could we have had? Could we have built a dynasty under Jurgen? Could we have really put it to Manchester City even more over that period? Because my fear, and I said from day one right to the end, was that Jurgen leaves this club and I feel like there were trophies left on the table. And I do. Because how many seasons did we fall away maybe in fatigue or injuries when we didn't get players in? Centre-backs, midfielders. And I do feel like that's down to a lack of funds. And it's very easy to say the right players weren't available, by the way. I feel like there's so many cop-outs that they can just put out there. The right player wasn't available. The wage bill was used as an excuse for ages. There's always something. And no statement. No statement of intent. No, Arna's in now, let's show he's our guy and back him. So yeah, until they do that, I'm going to be here saying what I need to say. Others might not agree with it. I get lambasted. I get absolutely rinsed by so many people that think I'm an embarrassment. And I honestly don't give a fuck about any of them. Because I know deep down I'm right. I know that these owners can do more. And I know that the people who are belittling us don't really ever seem to have a counter argument other than we're all nuts. We're all embarrassing. Somebody has to do it. Because I'm looking around the content world, and other than a handful of smaller content creators, I'm not seeing many people trying to hold these owners to account for the transfer spending. I know why. You know why. We all know why. But somebody has to have a pair of balls. And I've got nothing to lose here. Because I don't need to get to Anfield every week. I don't need to have access to the club. I don't need to be in the in crowd. I need to make my audience proud. I need to do what I think needs to be done. I need to say what I think needs to be said. And if that's that John W. Henry's cheap, then I'm going to say John W. Henry's cheap. If people don't like that, there's plenty of other content for them to watch. But I don't say it for effect. I say it because in my heart of hearts, I feel like that's my honest truth. That these owners don't give a damn about the club, and they don't give a damn about any of us, as they clearly showed with the Super League stuff. And as I've always said, if they're willing to let the Red Sox start to fall away and that's their hometown club, what have we got? Respect, Craig. I love what you say. Honestly, I find this very weird situation where there are other prominent podcasts and channels and media outlets and journalists that are Liverpool fans but put a pound note ahead of what they truly think. And I don't know. I think if you're a journalist, these things are different. But if you're fan content, I feel like your job is to represent the fan base and to speak how the fan base feels. And there's no part of me, none, that feels like some of these more prominent outlets don't feel like we feel a lot of the time. But they don't say the things that need to be said because they'll lose access. And that has always been my point in this. I don't think that's a healthy situation because there is no room for dissenting voices in Liverpool's media landscape. None. If you speak out against anything, you don't get access. It is as simple as that. And until we can have that proper conversation about, well, why is there no room for a dissenting voice? Because debate should be important. Nobody is above reproach. Nobody. So why aren't there people who can ask tough questions? What are we afraid of? If we're all so idiotic and wrong, well then tell us why. And I've been saying this for fucking years and nobody ever answers. It's just, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're an embarrassment, you're wrong. Why am I wrong? Tell me, show me. Why is the wage bill so high? How is it that our wage bill is so high that impacts our ability to sign players, but yet we don't have too many players on mad money? How is it that we're told we're constantly bringing in so much money in television revenue and sponsorship deals, but we're crying poor arse all the time? Poor mouth all the time. Yeah, it's mad. I sometimes just wish people would just raise their head above and say what they're actually feeling, because I can't believe there is a Liverpool fan in the world that doesn't feel these owners haven't been cheap.